Hello students, I hope you all are doing great. I know exams are approaching and I'm getting a lot of messages asking for exam tips, how many pages to write for 10 marks question, how many pages to write for 5 marks questions and all that. I know you all are worried about your exams, so here is a video completely dedicated to you. I hope this answers all your questions. If you still have some confusion, some queries regarding exam, you can definitely leave that in the comment section below, or you can WhatsApp me all your queries. My first advice to you would be try attempting all the answers that you know. If they have mentioned that out of 20 questions, you need to attempt at least 15 questions, then you try to attempt all 15 questions. Like if you know 15 answers, then you try to attempt all 15 questions. Many times it happens that we see the question paper and we feel like, okay, question number 1 is something that I know very well. I have studied 5-6 cases for this. And we start writing that answer, and 1 hour gone. Maybe we have written 10, 15, 20 pages for that. And what happens is ultimately we are left with no time to attempt all the answers. That is one of the biggest mistakes that you can do in an examination. Do not focus on just one answer. Keep this thing in mind. You need to answer all the questions. If 15 questions you need to answer, you should be able to manage time for that. So first thing is time management. You should have this thing in your mind before you go to the examination hall that okay, this is my writing speed and these many questions I need to answer. Whatever might be your university or college, what you can do is you can download some previous year question papers and you can get an idea on the question paper pattern. Is it that they are asking maybe 5-10 marks questions and then 5 marks questions? What is the pattern? Right? For 10 marks question, how many pages should you be writing? For 5 marks questions, how many pages should you be writing? That is very important. You need to do these calculations before going to the examination hall. So try to download some previous year question papers, get an idea on maximum marks that a question may carry, minimum marks that a question may carry, how many questions do you need to answer. That is the first advice which I want to give you. Get an idea on the question paper pattern so that when you go to appear in the examination hall, you don't get surprised to see the question paper. That okay, it is asking for 10 marks questions and I have just prepared for maybe 5 marks questions. That should not happen. That is point number 1 that you need to keep in mind. Secondly, the most common question that I get is how many pages should we be writing for a 10 mark question? How many pages should we be writing for a 5 mark question? Let me answer this question for you. As such, there is no hard and fast rule that all of us can follow. You must have already noticed this, that there are people who have like a very good writing speed. They can write like pages after pages and they would not say that okay, my hands are paining or something. Right? There are some people who can write very fast and they can fill in pages after pages. On the other hand, there are some of us who are slow in writing. Right? We don't have that habit of writing anymore, or might be we are slow in writing already. Whatever it is, right? So our writing speed varies, but you have a limited time frame, 3 hours time, where you need to attempt answers for 80 marks question. So one thing you need to keep in mind is what is your writing speed? How fast can you write? Right? Because it's not about how fast you can write, it's also about how neatly, how correctly, how accurately you can write. So get an idea before you go to the examination hall, get an idea, analyze yourself. How much can you write in maybe not like 3 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, how much can you write? Because in the examination hall, we don't keep on writing, right? We need time to read the question paper, we need time to think what to write in that answer. some time would be taken by the people who are there, right, signing your answer script and all that. It takes time. Sometimes we may feel like seeing here and there what other people are writing and all that. So just assume that you have 2.5 hours of time to write. How much can you write in 2.5 hours? How many pages can you write? That thing you can keep in your mind. Okay? And after that only you can decide how many pages to write for a 5-mark question, how many pages you can write for a 10-mark question. Now third point is, how many pages can you write? Well, let me answer that. There are universities where you don't have like limited pages booklet. You can ask for any number of extra sheets that you want. Okay, that is a different thing. But there are some universities like KSLU, Karnataka State Law University, where you get a booklet of limited pages. As in some 34 pages booklet you get, and you cannot ask for extra sheets. That means you need to keep in mind that within 34 pages, you should be able to complete all the answers. It should not happen that you have filled in 20 pages for one answer and then you are left with no more pages to attempt all the questions. That should not happen. Try to get some information on whether you are getting a booklet of limited pages or it is unlimited. Okay, I will just focus on KSLU thing where you get 34 pages limited booklet. Now total marks is 100, out of which 20 is for your assignments, for your internals and all that. So left is 80 marks. You have 3 hours examination for 80 marks where you get a 34 pages booklet to fill. Now how many pages should you be writing for each answer? To do that calculation, what you can do is you can divide 34 divided by 80 marks you have, right? And that comes around 0.4 something. That means if this is like one entire page, right, you can fill less than half, like around 40% of this page for 1 mark. Okay, as in for 1 mark question you can write a little less than half a page. Alright, so accordingly you can do the calculation. 0.4 into how many ever is the marks, 5 marks, 10 marks, whatever, you can do the calculations. But then if you are very slow in writing, then you need to reduce it, right? Then you need to keep in mind that okay, fine, for 5 marks question maybe I will be able to write only 1.5 page or 2 pages, not more than that. Because if you are trying to write that okay, fine, for each mark I need to write 40% of 1 page, you might not be having time to attempt all the answers, right? So first thing that you need to keep in mind is attempt all the answers. If you are writing maybe 2 pages for 5 marks question, 5 pages for 10 marks question, that is also fine, because first importance is attempting all the questions. After that, it should not happen that for one 10-mark question you are writing like 10 pages, another one you are writing just 1.5 page. You should maintain like a balance, right? If you are writing 10 pages, maybe other questions also you should write around like 8, 9, 10 pages, right? It should not happen that for one 10 pages, for another one 1 or 1.5 pages, because that makes it very difficult for the examiner to give you marks. Okay, so this is the third thing. Just divide number of pages that you are getting in case of a limited booklet with total marks, and then you get to know how many pages you should be writing for each 1 mark, and you can do your calculations accordingly. Okay, but if you are getting like in a booklet with like unlimited pages, you can ask for as many number of extra sheets as you want. In such a case, you need to calculate how much you can write in maybe 2.5 hours. Based on that, you need to do your calculations. Fourth point that I want to address is, many students do ask whether we should be writing only one side of the answer sheet or both the sides. Usually, for most of the universities that I have heard of, they do not like wastage of paper, so you need to write both sides of the paper. Okay, and this is even more important when you are getting like a limited pages booklet, because you cannot ask for extra sheets, right? So in case of examination, always, for most of the universities I have seen, they prefer that you write on both the sides of the page. But in case of assignments and all, where you are writing it properly in maybe A4 size paper with all the nice handwriting and all, there it is expected that you write only on one side of the page. That is for assignment. But for examination, ideally, both the sides you need to write. Fifth thing that I want to address is the design of your answer. What all things to include in your answer, how to write it. For that, you need to read the question very carefully. Read it 2 times, 3 times, but write as per the question. Okay, so you can start with maybe an intro, you can provide meaning of a certain thing, you can talk about maybe different types, different kinds, you can give cases, mention relevant sections, give some illustrations, and then finally conclude the answer. Right, so it's not like you can have one set pattern that you would follow for every question. You need to write the question and after that decide. Might be they are asking for difference between a certain thing. Straight away, do not jump into the differences. You can give a nice little intro. After that, you can maybe make a table with 2 headings, and then you can provide in a nice, well organized, neatly you can write differences between those things. You can give a conclusion. In conclusion, you can mention about some latest things that are happening, some recent cases that you have come across and all that. Basically, you can also give your own point of view on a certain thing as well. Next thing that I want to address is problems. Right, there are some problem questions that we get, especially in KSLU. You get some problem situation where you need to address the problem. Might be you need to consider yourself as an advocate and you need to give like a solution in that certain situation. So these problem questions are a bit complicated. Students do find it very difficult to answer it. They don't know how to answer it in a proper way. Now you need to do a little bit of practice in answering these problem-based questions so that in the examination hall you have already developed some skill in answering these questions. For that, one very good way is to read some cases, like cases relating to if you are studying maybe contract 1, all the problems that you would get is relating to some cases, some famous cases of contract. So reading cases helps you a lot. It develops that skill or ability to answer or address those problem-based questions. So I will advise you that try practicing some problem-based questions before going to the examination hall so that you have already developed some skills in solving it. The last point that I want to highlight is write neatly in a well-organized manner. Give proper question number for all the answers that you are writing. That is again very much important. You can give headings, like if you are writing introduction, you can give a heading introduction, maybe underline it. If you are writing some cases, properly highlight that, like properly underline it. All that will like grab attention of the examiner. When they are reading your answer sheet, they would know that okay, you have mentioned this certain section, you have written this case, that case, and it overall gives like a nice impression. Do not write everything like in a very cluttered manner, I would say. Do not write like that, because examiner, when they are reading your answer sheet, they should feel like reading it. It should not happen that they would feel like in such a dirty way it is being written, right? Obviously we have limited time, we need to answer so many questions, we are already under so much of pressure. I do get it, but try developing that practice. Try to increase your writing speed, plus maintaining like a good handwriting in a neat, well organized manner. You can try to develop these habits. It would come with time only. In fact, few days back I had posted 2 videos wherein I showed you my real answer sheet for PhD coursework, and there a student commented, "Ma'am, please give some like tips on time management. It's a neat presentation. I also want to write in the same manner." So these are some things that you can keep in mind, because only when your answer sheet looks like very neat and clean, examiner would feel like reading it. Examiner would know what all things you have written. It should not happen that whether you are writing W or you are writing C, It should not be like confusing for the examiner, right? Otherwise they are already under a pressure that what is it, what is this, what they have written, right? Already that negative impression should not be created. So these were some of the important tips that I could give you relating to your examination, and I hope this video will help you in writing your answers properly and in doing good in your examination. In case you have any specific queries regarding exams or anything, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, or you can WhatsApp me all your queries. And with that, I will end today's video. I know exams are approaching for a lot of you. All the best for your exam. Do well, and until next time, bye bye.